essentially stitching together multiple images taken off of a chrome ball. Let's do any. There we go. And so inside of the HDRI file, you'll see multiple files in here. So you have like a .hdr, you have a JPEG, you have a preview JPEG. So you have different things you can look at here. But I'm going to go and load in a .hdr. And so what's going to happen is now, instead of the light essentially being even from all directions, you'll see we're actually getting lighting from specifically more one direction than the other. You'll see like parts of the ball is a little bit brighter than other parts. And so if I go and take this, and we'll just turn down the turn off the reflection, you'll see that we're getting brighter lighting from one side versus the other. So this is good if you want to get really nice nice reflections. Like say if you're doing like a car commercial or something, you can use an HDR from a scene or a set to basically achieve those realistic reflections, which you would not be getting otherwise. So that's basically what an HDR does for you. Turn down that roughness. There we go. Mirror ball. Perfectly mirrored. Any questions so far? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So next thing we can do is, so this naturally isn't going to be showing up in the final batch render because this is technically a light, so it's going to be essentially shown as an alpha. Let's check and see, because there's a couple options we can get a background to show up. So if you take a look at render settings, so here we have the alpha.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh,
Well,
did it freeze?
Great
Yeah.
fucking timing. Oh no.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
check
Oh
that.
boy.
That's
Oh,
going to keep
there
the
we go.
background for.
Bryson, you disappeared on us.
What?
You disappeared on us for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, you mind going back on the alpha?
I was just
thing?
saying that if you want to do like a night scene, you could load in like a star field or something like that, an image. I don't think I have a star field. I have a kind of a blurry Milky Way. I got that one.
You were talking about
Actually,
like
that might
render
work.
settings.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying is if you want to take off that alpha channel, it's going to be right here. So in the main render settings, uncheck alpha channel, and that should have the HDRI show through. Come on. There we go. So there we go. Now we got a star field. Now you'll see that this is not really the clearest star field image. That this is really nice for lighting if you wanted to do, some nighttime lighting or whatever. But maybe, what you really need to be doing is, getting like a really nice high-end image from like NASA. So maybe we could look up NASA starfield images. So it's kind of a cool looking image. So maybe we'll go ahead and save this image. And then something we could try is going in and creating a new dome, a new sky dome. And I'm actually going to apply a Pixar constant to this. And then that emit color is going to be applied to a pattern Pixar texture. And then that texture node is going to have the new image we just got. So let's do Cygnus. Now with a star field, if we're doing, let's say for example, an image of the sky, we don't need this whole, full 360-degree view. Maybe we just need, what's essentially viewable, from the horizon up. So what we could do is go ahead and delete half of the sphere. Okay. Now, the problem with this is it's not really, we have a UV seam right here, and it's getting a bit pinched right there. You guys see that? So the natural UVs for the sphere aren't really conducive to what we need. So what can we do to kind of fix this? Any ideas?
Say go back to the UV editor.
Okay. What could I do in the UV editor? So let's take a look at the UV editor and see what it's given us. So that's the UVs for this half sphere.
You wanted the I think because you kind of talked about it in when I guess the project we started using UVs about a sphere. You mess with the like the scaling of the, I guess, the wireframe in the UV of the sphere, and then just to make it so the
what I'm getting at is, go ahead and finish. What were you gonna say?
I was just like scaling the like meshes wireframe to make it fit better with, like, I guess from the whole image, and then you can try like the different because I know there's like the different, like, oh, the plan year UV, or like
Planar?
or the automatic or stuff like that.
So you're on the right track. We do need to fix scaling in like the center point in the middle. But what we need to start off with is we need to reproject the UVs on this sphere. So what I'm going to do is actually we're going to do a planar from the y-axis and project. So now we get a much nicer projection, except for right there. That sucks. We don't want to talk about that. But anyway, what I can do is bring back up the UV editor, and then we can take a look at the UVs. I can go and unfold them. We're going to unfold. That's just going to be the brush I wanted to actually unfold. Where are my view toolbar? Is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. UV toolkit's right here. Okay. Unfold. So basically just unfold or re-unfold this mesh. So it's not going to stretch too badly. It's going to look fairly seamless. And most importantly, if we go inside the sphere, what's going to happen is when we have a camera that moves, it's going to track that sky now. And we actually want to scale that sky up to something quite large so it properly will track. So that would be a way if you didn't have an HDRI that you wanted to use, you could use a different image, or you could paint your own image in something like Photoshop or Substance if you wanted to paint something in there. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Let me see if I have. So I can at least give you an example of like some matte painting that was done for me. A student a couple years ago, about 3 years ago at this point, did some matte paintings for the film Oni. And so she did some sky images for me. Here we go. And so what specifically what I had her do is do some of these different images to kind of fit like specific shots. She did a really fantastic job on these. And I'll see if I can load one of these in. But this was a way that I could keep, I could have like accurate reflections and stuff in the scene as needed. So I think this one will work. Oh, that's right. It needs to be a. Pixar is not a fan of Photoshop files, so I got to resave it out. There we go. There we go. So that's what her sky dome work looked like. Now it's just painted in Photoshop.
That looks really cool.
Ended up working pretty well. Sunrises, stuff like that. So yeah. Any other questions or anything?
So just to be clear, for the assignment, we're making all of our own textures?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Just
Yeah.
double checking.
Now, when I say making your own textures, what I'm saying is that if you find images of like wood or something like that, you can use those, incorporate them into your textures.
Okay.
Some models that you might find online may come with pre-made textures. Those, I do not want you to use those textures because those are already optimized for those models. I want you to basically go through the act of collecting your materials, creating your shaders, and making, you know, making your materials yourself, not getting something you find online. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Okay.
like if we found a picture of wood online, we could use that, or do we have to like get our
Yes.
own picture of wood?
Yes, you would. You can use that because you would basically be having to turn that into a bump map, turn that into a spec map, and get that to function as a material on your own. Whereas there are places you can get pre-made materials, and I don't want you using those, or I don't want you using pre-painted textures. Like say someone painted on a model of a chair for that texture. I don't want you doing that or using that because you need to go through the process of making your own.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And we can still use Substance Painter for this project, right?
Oh yeah, I encourage you to. Substance Painter, ZBrush, and Photoshop. Absolutely.